The most variable rainfall on a year-to-year basis is right here around Garoo, around northeast Queensland, between Townsville and St Lawrence, you might say, and through Collinsville. So extraordinary rainfall variability. This area goes from 120 mils in February of one year to 1,300 mils in the February of the following year, and vice versa. Nowhere else on Earth has this sort of rainfall variability. It's going to be tough to withstand this part of the world. It's an interesting area scientifically. Not only do people have to be tough, but the crops, the sugar has to be tough. Sugar might be the last man standing. It's the only crop that can withstand this sort of massive variability. This is a character-building farming country, so people have to learn to withstand these sorts of variations in their year-to-year planning. So you have to prepare. I think people in this part of the world, the farmers and industry, have to prepare for these extremes. It's almost within their blood to do this. So we have to be very resilient. We have to know that this sort of extreme rainfall and temperature occurs. And the interesting issue is that's probably becoming more variable over time. So it's going to become even tougher. So this is a perfect area for studying how we might survive future extreme climates and what sort of crops we might grow and how we prepare a year or two in advance. How do we stay upright in farming, or how do we keep the economy moving with that sort of background pattern where you're getting massive floods or massive droughts, usually following one another. And this is how Queensland is. All our severe droughts are usually followed by severe floods, almost within 6 months of each other. And oddly enough, except for this part of the world, most of the country is not prepared for that. We're still not quite prepared for that. And yet we know scientifically that's how the climate system works. The more extreme the El Nino-induced drought, because it all ties back to this El Nino-La Nina business in the Pacific Ocean. The more extreme we have in an El Nino drought, the more likely we're going to be followed by an extreme flood in a La Nina within about a year. And agricultural industries and mills are way ahead in their knowledge of how this system works. We still have a problem with some of the cities and the water resource agencies still not quite catching up to what's going on. But our farmers are very well prepared, our producers are prepared, partly because we've been talking about this stuff for about 30 years now, in Queensland at least. So we've been all over the state discussing El Nino and La Nina, which is these patterns in the Pacific Ocean that are responsible for this massive variability we have, especially in northeast Queensland and northern Australia, which is most prone to these swings and roundabouts of these patterns out there in the Pacific Ocean. So this is in the firing line, year after year after year. Some of the city folk and so on are still catching up with that.